I'm crazy, Captain.
Yes.
I'm not. Easy going right there. Looking at him. One more to go. I'm crazy, champion.
Yes.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
everybody, and welcome to another day of ORL racing. Welcome to another race here at the Mobiuz Pro League here at ORL, and today we are going to be, racing at Italy. We're coming back for it's not Italian Grand Prix, it's more like the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, if I can say that. This is Ruben Reis Bagmania, and beside me in the commentary booth we have Joana Gaunt Brito. And Joana, good evening. And we do have quite a bit to talk about after our break, after an intense Grand Prix at Saudi Arabia. And yeah, what do you believe to be the biggest talking points surrounding the upcoming Grand Prix?
Good evening, Gracebug. Good evening, everyone watching us. It's a pleasure to be back after, as you mentioned, a short break with our break week, and then these postponement to today of the Grand Prix that was supposed to be due to the Bahrain Grand Prix in real life. So looking forward to the Grand Prix today. But before we go there, let's take a look at last week. We had quite an interesting race. Of course, loads of drivers that got their 5 seconds that they got going to the pits removed. So changed a bit from what we saw when they crossed the line. A penalty applied to Daniel Haddad as well. That makes the other Daniel, Daniel Beresnay, have a better shot at trying to go for that title. Not too many rounds left, but we have today what I hope will be a very exciting race in Imola. So looking forward to see what this new chapter of our championship will bring us.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting race. Not last week, but 2 weeks ago. Of course, we had tremendous action. Both Starabukin and James Doherty coming from further back the order. Sven Zerner as well. He had issues in qualifying once again, if I recall correctly, and he made a tremendous comeback. And then, of course, all unraveled late in the race with that collision. The stewards decided that the correct decision was to penalize Haddad with 5 seconds. That demoted him all the way down to the last of the points paying positions, and that brings us much closer in the title fight. As you can see, we Haddad, after winning the first 3 races of the season, after winning winning 4 of the first 5 races, he has now 24-point lead over Dani Beresnay, who himself won twice, once at Bahrain and the other time at the Circuit of the Americas, home of the USA Grand Prix. Again, that P3 side by side with the P10 at Saudi Arabia, kinda. Of course, not totally, but it does get us with a little bit of further equilibrium in the standings, because it kind of offsets that P1 that Haddad got at Canada, where Beresnay wasn't able to attend the first round of the championship. So things have gotten certainly more interesting. Beresnay's light at the end of the tunnel surely got bigger, surely got brighter, and therefore it's these upcoming 2 races. We are 3 races, because today we race at Imola, after that we race at Silverstone, and the season ender will be at the Red Bull Ring. So there's still a lot to play for, and a lot can happen among 2 of the greatest drivers that we have currently in our in our F1 community, if I can call it that. So it surely will be a mighty scrap. No one will be the one losing points to their direct rival, and since there isn't really any other driver who could contend for the championship, these two are going to go all out on each other. They know they are the only ones capable of delivering the other one defeat, and it will make things very, very exciting for sure. Now, Joanna, what do you think about this legendary track that is Imola?
Well, it's one of the tracks that I know less, although it definitely has a lot of history and heavy history, as as we might say. It has a lot of fast corners, so small mistakes can pay up really bad. Very curious to see. We have quite a few, well, returning drivers, we may say. We'll have Shanaka Clay in the second Williams, right beside Nardi Perez. So he's still reserved, but very curious to see what he will be able to do. We have Perigny in the second Red Bull, next to Easton Pookie. And we have the returns of Meyer and Smith, Luke Smith. Both have raced with us previously once and are now going out for this second outing. So very curious to see all of them really fast. Some of them even like Meyer going for the challengers. So let's see what they can bring us.
Yeah, so before moving on, just reminding everyone that, of course, this broadcast is brought to you by Mobiuz and their EX3410R monitor. Of course, it's also brought to you by HyperX and their Cloud 2 wireless headset, and as well by Next Level Racing's FGG, well, not FG, FGT Elite, another top-end product from Next Level Racing. And of course, they are our sponsors for this broadcast, and of course also for our championship and our league. And now we can get back to taking a look at this comparison as we head onto Imola. We are getting ready to start with our qualifying session in a few moments, and as you said, it is a classical track. Of course, you've also said the quick corners, the medium to high speed corners, can really penalize anyone that makes any mistakes in them. The thing is, there's also some quite technical sections, like the combination of corners 12 and 13, more known by Acqua Minerali. Of course, also the first and second chicane, the Variante Tamburello and the Variante Villeneuve, are also not the easiest to get right. Variante Alta is very difficult to spot as well. The turns 14 and 15 chicane, they are very tricky to get right because the track narrows quite a bit at that point, so it is not easy to keep it within the track limits, especially on the exit. You are supposed to utilize the curbs quite a bit, that, as we know, in F1 2021, the curbs can get you unsettled quite a lot, can end the race for sure, or the possibility of a good result at the very least. Then of course, the exit of the last corner is very crucial because, well, not the last corner, because officially you have the right-hand kink just before the finish line, which is considered turn 19, but coming out of Rivazza, turn 18, you need to maximize the exit because you are going full throttle between turns 18 and the braking zone all the way into the second corner for the Variante Tamburello. So it's a very critical zone, not only during qualifying, but also during the race. If you do any mistakes, even if the driver is far away and by enough to not have the RS on you, if he gets a better exit, he will capitalize on it, especially if he gets close enough to benefit from the slipstream. it can really help to a rival close in if any of our rivals makes any mistakes coming out of turn 18. It's not an easy corner to do as well. At the end of the track, especially in qualifying, everything is starting to overheat a little bit. You can go a bit wide and get grass, which might send you for a spin even. So it's not an easy left-hander. That's turn 18. A lot to play for, especially in qualifying. If you mess up there, you can really say goodbye to a good lap. And of course, during the races I've mentioned, it's very easy for someone who gets the corner better than you to close in on you and possibly even overtake into the Variante Tamburello. So with that, we are getting very close to the start of our qualifying session, and it's time for our predictions, right, Joanna? What do you have to say? Who do you think will start as the top 3 for this race?
Oh, tough question. With the week we had as a break, and with the championship fight going so on fire right now, if you may say. I can't put out both Dani Beresney and Daniele Haddad. And I'd have a certain tendency to go for Domenico Lovece because he's Italian and he has been going fast. So that will be my top 3.
Yeah, he sure wants to come back with a vengeance, I would say, because Lovece, he disconnected at the end of the qualifying at Saudi Arabia. He was never able to get back, and he scored 0 points. He wasn't able to attend the race, so very unfortunate stuff from him, but hopefully he can come back stronger. Also, both I would also to speak a bit about both Alpha Tauris, but I'll save that for once the qualifying starts. And we also have, of course, I would put that on pole with Beresney P2, but let's see how things develop today. Qualifying has started here at Imola, and apologize for the pause, just making sure everything is okay. And at the moment we don't have any action. Of course, we don't have the biggest pressure on the drivers to go out there right away, since we have a three qualifying session format here in ORL, so the drivers can take their time. It also helps the track not get too busy, despite getting 19 drivers out there. We already have Conor Mingolo on intermediates though, interestingly enough, and we have a few drivers already out there. Sven Zerner is the first out there and is followed by Samuel Bean in the second Aston Martin. And Joanna, following them is Alias Di Capua and Dario Yamulo. Joanna, those two in the Alpha Tauri, I don't think, if I recall correctly, they haven't had the greatest of records in the last few races. They really do need to turn it around.
Well, it's actually good to have them both back, both having missed Saudi Arabia and Yamilo also missing Japan in the last 3 races, so 2 misses for Dani Yamilo. So good to have them back. Let's see if they can have a solid race today. Hopefully that will be the case. For now, they're going to start their first attempt on the medium compound. No inters for them. In fact, only Nardi Perez coming out on track in the intermediate tires for now.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go on board with Sven Zerner for a lap at this Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. Let's get started then with the king right-hander of turn number 1. This left-hand king for some reason isn't considered a corner. Now you brake hard into the first chicane, a bit wide there on exit, but keeps it together. Up through the gears until the braking zone of turns 5 and 6, just throwing the car into that Variante Villeneuve. And now at about 50 meters away from turn number 7, you get nice rotation through Tosa early on the power as well, up through the gears, and now you prepare yourself to trust the machine into turn 9. You send the machine into Piratella, try to make it stick within the track limits on the other side. Now you go downhill into this very difficult braking zone of turn 12. Oh, and there's a spin for Sven Zerner, but let's continue with Samuel Bean. He's a bit further behind, and looks like he has actually abandoned that lap. So let's go with Alessio, as he's coming out now of that section of Acqua Minerale. Now about 50 meters away, he's going hard on the brakes, explored a lot of those curbs at the Variante Alta, corners 14 and 15. Now you go downhill one last time through the kink of turn 16. You brake right beside that Rolex sign into turn 17 and into Rivazza now, utilizing the curb on the inside for better rotation. Hard and early on the power, DRS wide open, crossing over the line, and it is a 14.525 early on for the Italian driver. Samuel Bean has aborted his attempt, so behind him I believe it's Armengol. Sorry, not Armengol, actually his teammate, but his teammate is also starting a lap just now. We do have trying to find out who is going to be posting a lap time up next, and I believe
Pablo Armengol will be posting a lap. He's getting
Yeah.
out of that so hard to just nail chicane right into the last section of our track. The Mercedes driver going for his first time this evening, sorry, getting out of, I will call it the last corner, to cross the line and go for P2 for now 1:15.4, almost 1 second slower than Alessio Di Capo. Well, I mean, the Italians have to be strong. It's their kind of home race.
It is. Meanwhile, Liam Mullo got his lap invalidated, unfortunately for him. Let's see Di Capo, if he goes for a second lap or if he pulls it off into the pits. He pulls off into the pits. Sven Zerner is right behind him also in an invalidated lap. So let's see what can Rookie do. It's Lovece crossing the line. He gets P2 at the moment. After that we have Samuel Bean improving on a 36-second lap time, and he gets a 1:15.1. The field is still chasing though that 14.5 established by Alessio Di Capua. Codorningolo is up next, getting through the end of his lap, and he gets a 19.9. Shanaka Clay getting through the last few corners, as he is followed by one of the Alfa Romeos who's about to start a lap of his own.
It's starting a lap while
Yeah.
he has right behind Nardi Perez closing supposedly his first attempt.
Yes,
Something
maybe it was
probably
invalidated.
invalidated,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
still says 0 laps, so it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, Ismail Fassi, the first of the Haas to complete the lap, grabs P3. Daniel Lusink just started with a lap of his own at the moment. We have Karmar in the Alpine with an invalid lap. And now we have Lovece probably pulling it back into the pits. Samuel Bean with an invalidated lap time, so I believe it is Daniel Haddad getting through the line now. Let's see what he can achieve. It will be a 1:14.6 P3 for another one of the homeboys. And it's a 1-2-3 for Italy at the moment. Sven Zerner in a third attempt on those tires. He still does not improve on that 24.5, so maybe looks like he has a bit more of fuel and is going for a longer run on those mediums.
We have Luke Smith coming up to close his lap. His first attempt, he joined later on the lobby, but still is able to go for P5 on his first attempt, really close to Daniel Haddad.
Yeah, Rookie improves from P10 to P7. And behind him, Samuel Bean is pulling into the pits surely. We do have, I believe that is Karmar in the Alpine in a second lap of anger. DRS wide open, crosses the line, and it is P4 from him. Despite being on a second lap on the softs, he still wasn't able to beat some of the medium runners. Nonetheless, he also wore out his softs a little bit more, so let's see how the times develop as time goes by. Simon Perigny just started a lap of his own. We'll be able to check soon what he can achieve. He's purple in the first sector according to the game though. We'll see soon how that one turns out.
Yeah,
Nardi...
we know better than to trust the game with this purple references.
Yeah, exactly. We do have Nardi Perez. He went wide at the exit of the Variante Alta, but his lap didn't get invalidated. Is he pulling off into the pits? No, he's going to complete his lap. And he achieves a 1:15.5, not exactly one of his best displays. Surely he would like to have done something better along the way on that lap. Danny Lusink invalidated his second attempt. And now we have Perigny closing up his lap, and he gets a 14.6. 7th place from him. But Joanna, we have a lot of times on the board at the moment, but the pack is still chasing that 1:14.524 established quite early on by Shanaka Clay, beating by exactly 1/1000th of a second the man we have on our monitors, Alessio Di Capua, who is going on a flying lap at the moment. What do you have to say about the lap times posted so far?
Janaka Clay cutting the tendency of the Italian drivers on top. Of course, Karmar is also cutting the middle of the Italian field that we have tonight. Yeah, I'd say it's Simon Perigny, the French driver on the mediums, the best, at least. Well, sorry. Yeah, no, never mind what I was about to say. I was looking at the fitting tires, not the best tires. But yes, I'm curious to see so many drivers going for the first attempt on the mediums. Usually you have quite a few on the intermediate tires, but as we mentioned previous to this race, we have quite a few fast laps, and maybe our drivers not trusting the grip that the intermediate compound would give them, thinking that might be a risk of losing control and ruining the whole qualification. So they start this qualifying session with some action for us. In the meantime, we had Alessio Di Capo going up to P1 in what a fashion. 7/10 he put on Shanaka Clay. Of course, all those other times were put on medium compound ones, but still, with Patrick Ruti just crossing the line behind him and still going 2/10 slower than the Italians. So very good time from the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, we do have more drivers completing laps, but they are completing their out laps. As you have Shanaka Clay just going at it. Domenico Lovecchia is right behind him. I believe it's Pablo Armengol wrapping up his attempt. He's trying to improve on that 15.4. And he aborted his lap somewhere along the way because he was 8 seconds slower. Codordingolo just started a lap of his own. Bean, on a third attempt, moves up to P9. And Dario Emulo has his lap invalidated, unfortunately for him. Let's check on Lovecchia. He just wrapped up sector number 1. Pookie just starting a lap of his own. Millenmeyer also starting a lap of his own. So up next we have, is it Sven? No, it is Beresnay, who moves up into P3 with a 14.0. Behind him, Istvan Pookie is also about to start the lap. And Zerner, he has invalidated his attempt. Ismail Fassi starting one of his own. And Dario Emulo wraps up a lap, but it was invalidated, unfortunately for him. Karma starts a lap of his own. Behind him is, I believe, Nardi Perez. No, that's his teammate. Yeah, that is Shanaka Clay, who moves up once again into the top spot. Domenico Lovecchio answers by also getting P2. Patrick Ruti is in the pits. Pablo Armengol gets P6 at the end there with an improvement. Karma, sorry, that was Codordingolo getting P6 in the second Alpine. And now we have the other Williams of Nardi Perez, who just started his lap. Daniel Yadar about to wrap up his improvements, and he gets P2 with a 13.652. And once again, very close stuff, 1,000th of a second faster than Lovece to claim that second place at the moment. Luke Smith goes up into P11.
No, Luke Smith had his lap invalidated. Who moved up was his teammate Milan Meyer up to P8. He invalidated his attempt. I think it was in Aqua Minerale, or at the exit of it, really. So he just aborted his attempt, regained some battery energy, and went for another attempt on the same compound.
Perez invalidated his attempt. Ismail Fassi wasn't able to improve by much, if by anything at all. Chanaka Clay pulls off into the pits. That should be Lovece behind him. Yes, it is. And Armengol behind the Ferrari.
And Luke Smith ruining his lap at the same point. Not quite an invalidation, but having to correct it massively. Almost losing... and now he actually invalidates his lap, but the lap was already no good after having lost the car that way. Again at the exit of Aqua Minerale.
Meanwhile, Codorningolo got himself back into the pits. Shanaka Clay, and Karmari was going for a second lap on those softs and invalidated. He still has time for another try though. Nolan Meyer also pulls off into the pits, and we have Samuel Bean just wrapping up his out lap, going to try and improve that 15th place he currently holds at the minute. Benzerner also into the pits. Will Massey do a second lap? Yes, he is going for a second lap on the softs. Moves up to P4. The first attempt didn't quite go his way, but the second time of asking, he moves up into P4. Strong lap by him. But the track is getting quite busy. Samuel Bean will be the next driver to start the lap. Yes.
In the meantime, we have Alessio De Capo saying... I think it was an on track, so he's saying quite enough. I think I'll get to Q2 with this time. But while we have our drivers starting their final attempts on Q1, we didn't get your predictions for this qualifying session.
I did say them. It would be Haddad P1, Berezny P2. And I was betting on Lovece P3. That was the one that I maybe didn't say.
Okay,
but I do see Yamulo or Capua. If they don't get P4 and P5, I could see one of them getting in the top 3. Especially after not getting many results and also missing some races. They want to get back on form for sure. Samuel Bean making a mistake in validating his attempt, unfortunately for him. Daniel Lusink is currently getting through the Variante Villeneuve, wrapping up Sector 1, improving by 4/10. Doesn't mean much at this point, since it would be only improving to a theoretical 117.9. So we'll have to wait and see if he can pull off further performance from this attempt. Ismail Fassi, his teammate, has also retired from the session. Let's see what Lusing can achieve. He's about to wrap up his lap. Luke Smith is behind him on the track, but both Alfa Romeos are on out laps. So let's see what the number 80 of the Haas can achieve. Comes through the line, P7 for him. 113.9. Not sure if he's going to end up being safe with that time. Nonetheless, we have Berezny starting a lap of his own. Luke Smith also just started a lap, so let's see. Rookie invalidated his attempts. Nardi Perez just wrapped up Sector 1. And we have Simon Perini with P8 for the time being. So I believe it is Armengol, the first driver to complete a lap out of this last group. And there's someone parked. It's possibly Karmar. He's parked at the exit of the Variante Alta, letting his rivals through. Armengol gets P10. Behind him, sorry, not Shanaka, but it's Nardi Perez. And behind him,
Doug Smith leaving it for the last possible moments.
Yeah.
Invalidates his attempt again at Variante Alta, and is now going for what must definitely be a better improvement lap, because otherwise he's out.
yeah. So Luke Smith couldn't do better than 17th. We have Dani Beresnay pulling off into the pits. I'm not sure if he can proceed with his lap time. Sven Zerner on a lap of his own, but at the moment Istvan Pukki moves up to P14. We have Karmar, I believe that is, but he has invalidated his lap. That was Nardik Perez, perhaps, trying to improve. Huki manages P12. Sven Zerner is getting through the line, doesn't improve as well. So, the McLarens, especially title contender Dani Beresnay, could get knocked out in this first session of qualifying. Karmar has invalidated his lap. Luke Smith is going for it, and Nardi Perez as well. Those two could dethrone Beresnay and Zerner. Let's see how that one goes. Here comes the Spaniard, crosses the line, P18 for him. Now it would be only Beresnay getting validated as it stands if Luke Smith is able to improve. Here he comes now through the last corner. The RS is getting wide open any moment now. Getting through the line, and it is P8, and I believe, Dani Beresnay, one of our title contenders, he is out in Q1, and is followed by Pukki, Milan Mayer, Nardi Perez, and Karmar. And Joanna, this is quite the setback, I would assume, for the McLaren driver. What do you think of it?
Not what we were expecting for sure. So both of our guesses already wrong. Dani will have loads of work to do in the race. Daniel Haddad knows that if he starts from pole, he will have a huge advantage over his title. Over his main title rival.
Yeah, exactly. So, in a moment, we will have the results of Q1. And we have Shanaka Clay P1 with Daniel Haddad and Lovece following him. Then Samuel Bean in P6. Actually, my loading isn't helping me, but we have Alessio Di Capua in P7. Then Luke Smith, Daniel Lusing, Simon Perini, Ecuador Ningolo in P11, followed by Kruti, Ruki, Armengol, Zerner, Beresnay, then, of course, Pukki, Milan. After that, it was Nardi Perez and Karmar wrapping up our field, so those bottom 5 get eliminated. And now we proceed into Q2.
Beresnay will be fuming at this moment.
Yeah.
He has about 20 minutes, a bit more, to just get his mind back on action, concentrated for the race, so he can do the best he can during when it's lights out.
Yeah, of course, he knows that now he has a lot of work to do, but then again, we've seen that at some tracks the reverse strategy is quite powerful.
Last race.
Last round. Yeah, especially if we manage to get those long DRS trains, because the drivers who start on the reverse strategy, they basically are able to keep up with the pace of the soft tire runners by virtue of following in the train.
He's not even starting on P11. It will be P16.
Yeah, I know. But nonetheless, he can make his move later on. If he can just survive and hope that there are no gaps in the train if it forms at all. If it doesn't form, he will probably still be able to move up a few spots. But we will have to wait and see. At the moment, we have a lot of drivers getting out there in a hurry. Sven Zerner among them. And we have one of the Williams. Is that Codorningolo? No, sorry. Who is the Williams? I can't find him. It's Jonathan Clay. I keep on thinking Clay is driving the Alpine, so that's why I'm getting mixed up. Okay, Cadorningol is in the Alpine, Shanaka is in the Williams. Shanaka is the first. He is the first to get his lap underway. He did come out in force in early Q1 to post provisory pole 2 times in a row. So he's surely going to try and get some laps going as well. Ooh, and there's already, is that Di Capua? Yes, that's Di Capua with an off-track excursion at Variante Villeneuve. Turns 5 and 6, so not ideal. Is early Q2 for him, for sure. But so let's jump back to Shanaka Clay. He's followed by Sven Zerner at the moment, who just got through by the skin of their teeth. Just beating his teammate Dani Perez now to move on to Q2. Shanaka Clay now getting through the last corner, completing his time, and it is a 1:13.7. Sven Zerner coming through now, 1:14.6. Behind him is Patrick Cruti. He gets his lap invalidated. Armengol does not. 1:14.697 for him. After that, is it Luke Smith or his teammate? It is Smith, who's driving without a helmet for some reason, and gets P2 for the time being. Lovece gets provisorily P4. After that, we have Di Capua and Yamulo. Yamulo pulls off into the pits. Di Capua, after his spin, doesn't get a good lap.
We have
Perigny
Daniel finishing up his attempt. And it's P3 for now. One really close to Luke Smith, 1:13.875.
Yeah,
Luke Smith is driving without a helmet because he joined mid-session.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
He was in a hurry so much that he forgot his helmet at the garage.
Yeah, exactly. Samuel Bean just starting a lap of his own. Daniel Lusink will be right behind him, completing his lap though. 1:14.7. His teammates had completed his lap earlier, but something happened to make him achieve that 1:33. Sven Zerner pulls it back into the pits. So the only drivers making laps at the moment is Samuel Bean, possibly Alessio Di Capua and Ismael Fassi. Let's see if Capua is pulling off into the pits at the end of this lap or not. You have Di Capua now. Luke Smith in the background pulling off into the pits. Di Capua improves to P4. Now Samuel Bean is crossing the line to complete his lap, but not before Ismael Fassi doing the same. Daniel Yadat pulls off into the pits. What will the number 92 pull off? It is P4 with a 1:14.1. Still only the top 3 have cracked the 1:14s at the moment and gotten into the 1:13s. And now Samuel Bean grabs
Not
P4.
anymore.
Not anymore, exactly. Gets P4. A 1:13.904 for him. And Joanna, once again, we have quite a few lap times early on the session. Oh, and Bean goes for a spin. Ooh, he made a mistake. I'm not sure if he was going to try to improve on that, but at least he was going full power through Tamburello. Nicked the grass midway through the combination, lost grip, and almost found himself in the wall. And he's almost doing the same again.
His tires are so hot right now.
Yeah.
He has to be really cautious, otherwise he'll do the whole lap drifting as he is at the moment.
Which would be especially, well,
entertainment value, but not what we want here.
Yeah, no, but if he doesn't manage to improve at the end of Q2, he might start on these tires if he gets into Q3. So he needs to be careful, and now he needs to make sure that he does improve his lap time by the end of the session. We have Dario Yamulo just started his lap. Another one of our Italians present today. Currently P13 without a lap time. But Joanna, tell me once again, Anything to point out about the lap times achieved so far?
Well, not really. As you mentioned, we had 4 drivers getting into the 13s, but I'm pretty sure most of our field will try to get there by the end of this qualifying session number 2.
Okay, so Yamulo, I'm not sure.
Also,
I believe he has aborted his lap. I believe it looks like
Yeah.
he's going quite slow to me. He has a lot of battery charge on his steering wheel, so he has aborted his attempt. Patrick Ruti just starting his lap, and now we'll jump to Codorningolo in the Alpine. Let's see what he can do then. He gets now to Tosa. Now the right-hand kink off turn number 8. You can see the Ferrari of Lovece midway through his outlap. Sorry, that wasn't the Ferrari. That was Zerner, perhaps. Yeah, it was Van Zerner on his McLaren. As Zerner, he actually aborted his attempt to Codorningolo goes for an off-track excursion. That was a bit reminiscent of Yuki Tsunoda's crash in qualifying earlier in the year. It did lose the rear in the exact same spot, but Codorningolo managed to catch it. Still pulls
talking
off a
about
P6.
Tsunoda, talking about Tsunoda, we have his car driven by Dario Yamulu finishing up on the 3rd sector. Ahead of him still a Mercedes, but yeah, and Patrick jumps to P2. Let's see if Dario can answer to the Mercedes driver. He's crossing the line in this P1 for now, 1:13.683. As I mentioned, Ruben, everyone wants to go to the 13s.
Yeah, now Daniel Haddad is giving his answer now. What will it be? It is provisory pole. 113.583 for the number 92 of the Silverstone-based team. Behind we have Domenico Lovece. Gets P2 very, very close to Haddad's time. Less than a tenth after that. We have Luke Smith. Gets P2 from Lovece with the exact same time as Daniel Haddad. I blame the weight reduction caused by driving without a helmet. That's what I will blame on this one. Simon Perini goes into the pits a second time. He aborts his lap time for a second time. Danny Lusing just started his lap time. His teammate is midway through the lap at the moment. Let's see what Sven Zerner can achieve on his second lap on the softs. P8 still not cracking the 113s, the number 8 of the McLaren team. And Shanaka Clay took a second crack at it, but he beats both Haddad and Smith and gets himself provisory pole. 113.539 is the time the field is chasing at the moment. Joanna, we have a qualifying session in our hands for sure.
What a fight between the British and the Italian drivers. Just Alessio Di Capo missing on this top, well, it would be 6 really, but the top 5 right now, all composed by home of F1 or home Grand Prix drivers.
Yeah, so either the teams, yeah, well, in the top 5 it's only Shanaka Clay is not driving for an Italian team.
Theory, yeah.
He's not driving for an Italian team or is an Italian driver, but yeah, it's the Italians are quite motivated to do well at one of their home Grand Prix. Samuel Bean, I believe this is, yeah. Go ahead.
Who has not been, who is also Italian but not having such a great session at this moment is Alessio Di Capo with an invalidated lap time, probably returning to the pits. Let's see. Yeah, he's returning to the pits. He knows he could go for a second attempt, but that would compromise his final one on this second qualifying session. Also, you must remember that the tires you do your fastest lap here is the tires that if you pass to Q3 you will be starting the Grand Prix on. So not too much wear you want to put on these tires. So Alessio Di Capo opting to go back to the pit lane. So does the Williams of, I think it's, yeah, exactly, Shanaka Clay. But we have Danny Lusing on track and quite a few drivers also leaving for I think it will be Pablo Armengol
Yes, yes.
leading this train of drivers leaving the pit lane, as his teammates Luke Smith and Domenico Lavezzi have all retired from the session, quite content with their times. Let's see if they're enough, because the track has been improving quite a lot, and might not be just enough for Patrick Ruti at the end of the session.
Yeah,
He who
losing.
also has the same time as Ismael Facil, let's point it out, because it's not only Luke Smith and Daniel Haddad,
Only
the
pair.
Haas driver and the Mercedes driver also with the same time.
Yeah.
That's how close we are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to say, Lusinki was about to complete his lap, but if he completed that lap, he wouldn't have time to go back in, do an in lap, go back into the pits and do an out lap in time to go for a last attempt. So he aborted that one, pulled off into the pits, and is going now out of the pits soon. Paulo Mengol will be the next driver to get out there. He's followed closely by Simon Perini. And behind him is Dario Amulo as well. So these are the three drivers who are going to be starting laps of their own. Let's see what Armengol does. Let's go on a lap with him as he gets into Tamburello. Turns 2, 3 and 4. Now through the kink of 5 and now into Variante Villeneuve. Also nicely done from him. Into Tosa now. Listening to the engine quite early on the power. Right after the apex, trying to maximize the speed now on this uphill through the right-hand king and throwing it. Absolutely sending it into Piratella. Now through Aqua Minerale. Utilizing the curb on the inside. That can make you spin, but you do need to use it to get nice rotation through the corner. Exploring the curbs once again into Variante Alta. Turns 14 and 15. Again, exploring the curbs to help rotate the car through the corner itself. And now, turn 17 and 18. Early on the power as well. And here comes the Mercedes then. Getting through the line. And it will be an improvement of almost 7/10. But gets P10. Is at risk of being eliminated. Best case scenario, he proceeds, but let's see how things go. Perini looks like it just started with his lap. Ismael Fassi also on lap of his own. Dario Mulo is about to wrap up his lap, and he gets provisory pole with a 1:13.528. Behind him is Sven Zerner wrapping up his out lap. Samuel Bean is up next. Yeah, wrapping up his out lap, yeah.
Yeah, he's the last driver starting his final attempt. In the meantime, Samuel Bean P1.
Yes, he gets P1. So
he heard me saying it's only British and Italians. Then no, Spain is here as well.
Exactly. Let's see now what Ismael Fassi can achieve, right? Behind him is Pablo Armengol. I'm not sure if he's going for a second lap or not, but we'll find out soon enough. Ismael Fassi gets through the line. P6 for the time being from him. Armengol, is he going to try and improve? He tries, but he doesn't get the improvement. 13 thousandths of a second slower than his personal best. Simon Perini gets P4 with a strong lap for the Red Bull driver. Dario Mulo is pulling off into the pit, so it's his teammates' time to do the talking. 9th place from him. And Rookie gets P14. So, not able to proceed. Patrick Ruti is the next driver at risk. Daniel Lusinki aborts his attempt. Sven Zerner is getting through the line now. It does not improve by enough, and Codorningolo pulls off into the pits. And Joanna, I think he got it. I think Patrick Ruti, he retired from the session quite early on, but he just makes it in to the top 10 shootout.
To be honest with Zerner, he was taking more than 2/10 off his attempt at the end of the second sector. It seemed to me like he was getting a bit of an involuntary tow from Well, I'm not sure. I thought it was an Alfa Romeo, but clearly it was because Luke Smith has retired quite a bit ago. It seemed like it was helping him, but might have made him lose the final braking spot, and that would have cost him the 210s that he definitely lost and might have put him into Q3. So tough night for the McLarens.
Yeah, tough night indeed for the McLarens. We have
I'm
seen
getting, Racebook. I'm getting
What?
some information that Zerner slowed down on purpose because he wanted to get P11.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's possible.
That's interesting.
It's possible. He tried to do that.
But that's not P11. That's P13.
Yeah, of course. Well, that would require mighty precision.
I expect everything from our drivers.
but yeah, he gets P13. Of course, not too bad. Of course, we've seen him throughout the season multiple times. He has gone back through the field. I recall not Zandvoort. There was the race before Zandvoort. I can't seem to remember which Grand Prix it was.
Belgium?
Maybe Japan.
Belgium was before
Belgium.
Netherlands.
I believe it was Belgium where he came back through the field. He got issues at Zandvoort, and then at USA he also had that collision in qualifying where he got traffic at the end of his lap. He got involved in an accident, and he rolled up his sleeves, went to work, and moved up through the field, getting an amazing performance. So we've seen him multiple times climb his way up through the field. So he's just keeps on doing it, and is betting on that to get a good result here today as well. Our debutee, Lusink, I've only seen him race once before, and it was at Russia in our social race. So, and he did a good display, and he confirms that here today. Starts from P11, the Haas driver, and yeah, we do get pole. It was, who was it? It was Bean, wasn't it? Who got provisory pole. So let's see if he can also get it when it counts in our top 10 shootout, which will start in a few moments. We are stuck on Sven Zerner, and hopefully he can get back quickly. I don't think I can. I don't have him.
He has 12 minutes to rejoin, really.
Yeah, I don't have him as a friend on Steam, so I can't invite him, and I'm not sure if anyone will do in qualifying. So, but yeah, hopefully
out of qualifying 3 will be able to invite him.
Yeah, hopefully he can get back, but we'll have to wait and see. Now the skies do have the occasional cloud, but nothing too serious at the moment. And we have the Alfa Romeo of Luke Smith being the first out there. Simon Perini right behind him. And Daniel Lusink has also left the session, so maybe he also had some issue. He left the session, so let's see how that one develops. Hopefully they can get back in rather in short notice. But let's see how things go. So it is Smith followed by Perini, then Dario Iemulo. Dario Iemulo is the next driver in the queue. He's followed by Ismail Fassi, and behind him is the pole, Patrick Cruty in P6. Currently, of course, no times on the standings at the moment, but he's starting in P6 according to our table. Let's see how things continue to develop for this first attempt, and we will go on board with Luke Smith then for his first attempt of this third qualifying session. I'm not sure if any of our drivers are doing these first attempts on worn out tires or not, but I guess we will find out by looking at their lap times. Luke Smith now getting into Variante Tamburello, turns 2, 3 and 4, he didn't really get any rotation on the transition between turns 2 and 3, he compromised himself a little bit all the way through, now sending it, absolutely sending it through Villeneuve, and yeah, he got too wide, but yeah, that transition of turns 2, 3 really threw him off. He went over the curbs, didn't get the rotation of the car, and that's all she wrote. Now Simon Perini getting through Piratella at the moment, now downhill through turn 10, 11, now the braking zone into turns 12 and 13, very tricky spot of the track, and now into turns 14 and 15, aka Variante Alta. Now downhill into the right hand King of Rivazza, and on the brakes about 50 meters away from turn 17, and now into Rivazza. Up to the gears, DRS wide open, what will he pull off? 13.6, not the best time we've seen so far, but not too far from it.
Yeah, we're going to the top 5, I believe.
Yeah, let's see what Yamolo pulls off now. And 33, so something also happened with his lap. Daniel Haddad just started a lap of his own. Domenico Lovecchia is about to do the same. Di Capua is right behind him. Ismail Fassi, he has aborted his attempt. So now we have Patrick Ruti, who has his lap invalidated. So a lot of drivers who have missed the marks on this first attempt. Shanaka Clay also invalidating his attempt. So we will have to wait and see on that one. Now things are going to wrap themselves up. Daniel Haddad also invalidating on this second attempt, rather. We have Luke Smith going for a second lap on the softs, just ahead of Simon Perini, who's probably pulling himself back into the pits. Let's see then what Smith can pull off on the second time of asking. It will be a 13.7 P2 for him for the time being. Daniel Haddad is still halfway through his lap, so all eyes pointed. What? Yeah, invalidated. Yeah, invalidated. It is Yamulo trying to go for a second crack at it, but things don't go his way. Patrick Ruti also going for a second attempt with Di Capua right behind him. And behind Di Capua is Fassi. So let's see how that one goes. It will be Ruti. Then... sorry, yeah, it was Ruti. Then Yamulo Fassi gets P3. Di Capua invalidated his attempt.
And I'm betting from these times that those were used softs.
Yeah, Kruti said, well, that was very close to Kruti's lap time at the end of Q2, so... Oh, and Shanaka Clay gets himself on the top of the standing sheets. 113.480. Good job from the number 79 of the Williams right away. Now we have, is it Bin or Haddad? It is Haddad about to wrap up his second lap on those soft tires. What will he do? P6 for now. And behind him is Yamulo, who grabs pole on a third lap on the softs. 113.356, mighty lap from him. And behind him...
No fuel to get back to the pits. It will be a long trip for Dario Yamulo.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Alessio Di Capua, yeah, this lap invalidated, but he almost binned it at the exit of the last corner. At the exit of Rivazza, he almost lost the rear multiple times, managed to save it, but he got the lap invalidated. Samuel Bean is getting through now
Also invalidated, so going back
Yeah.
into the pit, preparing their final attempt.
Exactly. Tanaka Clay also going into the pit, so we have now a little bit of calm before the storm. And Joanna, I would believe everyone in this top 10 to be able to lap under 13.7. So I do believe every single lap time that we see is going to get improved on.
Well, hopefully, yes. That 113.3 from Dario Yemlu is a very nice reference to have. Shanaka Clay also improving on the previous best time of a .5, so 480 for the Williams driver. And Alessio Di Capo, as I mentioned, he has used the last of his fuel. He's just limping back into the pit lane with his AlphaTauri. The Italian driver will still be on time to get. He's using all his battery to try to be faster into the pit lane, but he's still on time for the last attempt.
Yeah, and it really is on his own Grand Prix because Imola isn't too far away from the headquarters of the AlphaTauri squad. So Faenza isn't too far away from Imola. So can't really get much more homey than that, I'm sure of it. Now we have a few drivers getting out on track. Domenico Lovece is one of them, but leading the group is Samuel Bean. The number 35 is the first one out there. Behind him is Fassi. Then it is Haddad, Shanaka Clay, and Patrick Ruti. Then it's Lovece and Luke Smith. And coming out of the pits at this moment is one of the AlphaTauris. It is... We'll have to wait for a little bit. It is Yamulo, our pole sitter currently. Just came out of the pit lane.
Well, to be honest, Maranello is not too far from Imola either. So,
yeah, but
Faenza
Ferrari
is closer, definitely.
Ferrari have their own
And Modena, yes.
yeah, that's where they raced in real F1 2 seasons ago. We went
In 2020.
Yeah, we went there, so it's
Quite as
that's-
Romagna Grand Prix as well.
yeah, that's Ferrari's own race. Apart from, of course, Italy,
Monza.
but or Monza rather, but of course that's for all Italians really.
Yes, but I mean, Ferrari and Monza, it's quite something. Even if you don't have an Italian driver or Ferrari driver on the podium, you see those huge Ferrari flags always going in the track invasion at the end of the race. So it's always a very homey environment for Ferrari in particular. Of course, Faenza, as you mentioned, is closer to Imola, but I think AlphaTauri is a bit of a mixture from the old Minardi team and Toro Rosso, of course, but also has that Red Bull brand on it. So quite a bit divided, if we may say, the same as Alfa Romeo, who has their Swiss roots as well. In the meantime, we had Luke Smith aborting his first final attempt, if you may say so. Not satisfied with the way he exits out of turn, I think it was turn 7, Tosa, and he abandoned this attempt, but he has to hurry up because the time will finish if he doesn't do it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Daniel Haddad P3 and Shanaka Clay P2. Now Ismael Fassi and Domenico Lovece climbs up to P4. After that, Lemulo does not complete his attempt. Alessio Di Capo just started one of his own. Ismael Fassi maintains that P7. Let's see if Yamulo reinforces his lap. No, he actually aborted it. And Luke Smith also aborting his attempt. And the checkered flag is out to all of the drivers. Shanaka Clay and Daniel Haddad, there's not more they can do. They did take the fight to Yamulo, but this could be the first AlphaTauri pole of the season. Alessio Di Capo is going for a lap at the moment, but before that we do have, I believe that is Samuel Bean. I do believe he's going in full power at the moment. As we get downhill, Simon Perini is going on his first lap on those softs and is not too far away as well. So let's wait and see how this final attempt goes for the number 35. DRS wide open at the back of the Aston Martin, gets through the line and he gets pit rear right above his teammate. Let's see what the French Simon Perini can achieve. P5 for the time being. Patrick Cruty, the pole, has a chance to answer. Does not improve on his lap time. It's Capo gets himself at the top with the 1:13.30.51. Domenico Lecce pulls off into the pits. Fassi goes into the pits as well. Let's see, can Yamulo retake pole? No, he goes into the pits. And Luke Smith, what can he do? It's P5 separating both Aston Martins. And it is a front row knockout for the Italian-based AlphaTauri.
They deserve it so much.
I told you all, this couldn't get much more of a home Grand Prix for them. And they go and lock out the front row. Amazing display from them. And once again, they went through their own trials and tribulations throughout the season. A lot of bad luck involved. And usually, that bad luck would come in the race after very good qualifying performances. Nothing would ever come together in race stream. But now, they really took control of the situation.
Let's face it, P6 for Daniel Haddad. It could be a lot worse for Dani Perez now.
Yes, it could indeed. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic develops. But I'm not sure if my game is going to end up loading the tables, but nonetheless, we have Alessio Di Capua in P1, Dario Yamulo 5 thousandths of a second behind him, Shanaka Clay P3 41 thousandths away from pole, Samuel Bean in P4 78 thousandths away from pole, and Luke Smith P5 80 thousandths from pole. The top 5 separated by less than a tenth. Then we have Haddad, Perini, Lovece, Fassi and Cruty wrapping up our top 10. And Cruty, he actually didn't pull off a better lap time than the one he got at the end of Q2. That was more than half a tenth faster, and that could have made a bit of difference on his qualifying position. Nonetheless, it was about 70 thousandths of a second slower than his best lap time of the entirety of qualifying combined. So he could have done a little bit better, couldn't pull it off, so he starts from the last place of the top 10, starts from P10. The clouds are getting a bit more threatening, and I'm not sure if there's any rain predicted, but Joanna just getting ready to get to our formation lap and to check the options for tires that drivers outside of the top 10 will take. What do you think about the tire strategy for this Grand Prix?
I've actually never raced in this track, so I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that it will be a soft medium, as it is on most of our tracks, maybe soft hard, or hard soft if you want to go the long way.
Or if you are Nardi Perez.
Oh, exactly, that's what I was about to say. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, looks like if you are Nardi Perez, you are going from hards to softs. I mean, if Perez can keep up with the medium runners, which I would say is a tall of a task, as the medium runners to keep up with the soft runners. So, if they can keep themselves in the group, if they can keep themselves in the train and keep up with the soft runners, Nardi Perez just needs to keep in the DRS range of the car ahead of him. If he can pull it off, that might be an amazing performance from him later on. But it will certainly be interesting. Karmar, though, will be trying quite hard to capitalize on the soft tires and try to be aggressive and make some moves early on the race. But very impressive still by the Faenza-based squad. Alessio Di Capo and Dario Emilia with a 1-2 at the Rome Grand Prix. Shanaka Clay also gets P3, Samuel being right beside him. And then Luke Smith and Daniel Haddad share the third row of the grid. Our debutee Simon Perini gets the top spot of the fourth row of the grid alongside Domenico Lovece. And Danny Lusink, another debutee, starts from P11. Danny Beresnay, he starts this Grand Prix 24 points away from the championship lead held by Daniel Haddad at the moment. And he needs to pull off a mighty race to be able to get points over Haddad. So the drivers are lined up on their grid marks, and we'll have word from race director to get the lights going. And we have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go for this Italian Grand Prix. Good start from Alessio Di Capo, not so much from Emilia. He's already jumped by Shanaka Clay. He could get also attacked by Luke Smith. Let's see how it goes into the first chicane. Emilia trying to attack Shanaka, but he has to pull it off. Samuel Bin and Haddad come together as well with Simon Perini, but it is Kappa in P1, Clay in P2, Emilia P3, Smith P4, Bin followed by Haddad, Perini, Lovece maintains P8. Fassi P9, Kruti also maintains P10, Sven Zerner though, and Daniel Lusink battle into turn number 7. Pablo Armengol has privileged view of that battle as they go up all the way. Oh, and there's contact. Sven Zerner almost lost the rear of that one, and now he compromises his entry into Piratella, and look at that great maneuver from Armengol. 2 cars done into Piratella and moves up into P11. I think he also got a run on Lusink coming out of turn number 13, and he gets up into P10. Amazing start from the Mercedes driver. Codorningolo going 3 wide with Beresnay, and that's not Kruti, is it? Yes, it is Kruti, who is having a nightmare of a race start. He started P10, he's already down to P16 and into the pits with damage. But Danny Beresnay, mighty maneuver, double overtake as well, just like Armengol at the end of this lap.
It was not an easy start of the race for Danny Beresnay. It seemed like the Codorningol had made him his personal mission to make sure that the McLaren didn't pass him at the start. Cut quite a bit of the track to make sure that he gained position on Danny Beresnay. So Beresnay had to be more careful, being intelligent about his maneuvers and using, if I may say so, Patrick Kruti in the middle of the 3 wide to gain position on Codorningolo.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Domenico Lovece grabs 7th place from Simon Perini. Lovece holds P7 at the moment, but up ahead, the duo of Toro Rossos have been split. Shanaka Clay with a much better start than Emilia. Emilia almost lost the podium places altogether. Luke Smith almost got P3 from him. As we start lap number 2, and this is a cut between Armengol and the soft runners that Armengol surely didn't want. He wanted to keep on the train and keep the pace of the soft runners, but now the soft tire runners have a chance to pull away from everybody else in the top 10. This is great news for Haddad in the direct battle with Beresnay. But let's see how things go. Lusink could be challenging Armengol soon. He's putting a lot of pressure on him for the time being. Nothing to come off of it just yet. And up ahead, Emilia also putting the pressure on Shanaka Clay, even though Emilia will have a tough task to overtake the Williams driver, because the Williams driver will dispose of the DRS to defend himself. Joanna, what do you see on the field?
A quite close battle between Pablo Armengol and Danny Lusink. the two first drivers on the medium compound really close on track. Not sure if Armengol is losing time trying to fight off Dani, or if by opposite Dani is losing time being stuck behind the Mercedes driver. But this is not good for any of the of any of the medium compound tires runners.
Yeah, meanwhile, Shanaka Clay won't have as strong of a slipstream as the Yamulu will have on Clay. It's going to be very interesting now into the first corner. We have Shanaka Clay around the outside, gets the move done. Yamulu doesn't have enough to get past. The Kappa compromises this transition between turn 2 and 3, but Yamulu can't quite capitalize on it. Further back, it's Pablo Armengol coming to blows with Sven Zerner. Daniel Lusink overtakes the Spaniard, and Zerner also gets past the Mercedes, who drops down into P13, and Berezna will try now to capitalize on that, but the Williams driver Shanaka Clay, and you could see Capua tried his hardest to pull away on this lap, and Yamulo was trying really hard to be close enough to Shanaka Clay to try and overtake him, but all their efforts were in vain. The DRS is so powerful. Shanaka Clay managed to still grab P1, Juan.
Danny Bernesnay with a bit of a tough time putting down the potency of his McLaren out of Aqua Minerale, but still manages to keep up with Pablo Armengol, using quite a bit of his energy to make sure that Codorningol isn't too close to him at this stage. But yeah, it seems like Armengol is going to a difficult moment. Seems like he's the slowest of the top of the medium compound runners.
Yeah, meanwhile, let's take a look at Berezna. He's pulling in on Armengol, and Patrick Rutte is out of the race. We have yellow flags, and we have a safety car. We have a safety car, and this answers the prayers of all of the medium runners, because this really puts a hamper on the soft tire runners' hopes, because they won't have as much time to pull away from the field. Basically, by the time the safety car comes out, it's time for them to go into the pits. So, will any of the leaders go into the pits during this safety car? That would be an interesting question for me. Will, especially considering all that's been going on, would Haddad go on the hards and try to rejoin the back of this field? Because Berezna would still have to go for an extra pit stop. But at the end, Haddad would be on used hards against brand new softs by Berezna. So the soft tire starters are really in a tough situation at the moment. And looks like everyone is pulling off into the pits. Alessio Di Capo also goes in. No, sorry. Dario Mulo does not go into the pits. But Di Capo does. Shanaka as well. There's a double stack as well for
Aston Martin.
the Aston Martin team. Looks like they didn't actually get to double stack. That was nicely played on the gap between the two Aston Martins. But Samuel Bean.
Yeah, but they were close.
And,
they were right one behind another. Now they have Domenico Lovecchi in the middle.
Yeah. Lovecchi got the jump on Haddad.
Curious to see two strategies going into play. Some drivers going for the hard compound, some going for the medium. I'd say they're evenly split. Sven Zern decided to go for the softs, maybe trying to get some places at the restart. And let's see what happens afterwards. Might be thinking that this is not the last safety car of this race.
And Joanna, Dani Berezna rejoins the race in last place. I'm not sure if he lost time changing his wing or if he was held up by Sven Zerner.
He might have had damage from that start of the race. He was squeezed between Codorningolo and the wall.
And he has to pit again. Because he started on the mediums and he's on another set of mediums. So either it is confirmed that it's going to rain.
And that doesn't need to stop.
Yeah, exactly. And either it is confirmed that it is going to rain, and Berezna will only need to pit for intermediates once everyone pits for intermediates, or Berezna is hoping for another safety car to go on the softs. Because at the moment he's really in a tough situation. But up ahead, Dario Mulo, he hasn't pitted. Armengol also did not pit, and this one Puki as well. So the top 3 is on older tires. And I'm really interested to see their pace. Of course, they won't be losing too much pace, the medium runners, but here Mulo does need to have some mighty pace on that set of softs to be able to mount any sort of offensive on his current most direct rivals at this point of the race. So currently in lap 7, things are all to play out for at the moment. Of course, our Mobiuz, pull seater. Of course, Dario Mulo has done a good job, but he did take the decision to not go into the pits. Of course, is our Mobiuz pull seater, brought to you by Mobiuz and their EX3410R monitor, the monitor of champions, and he's surely behaved like a champion in this qualifying session. Now let's see if this was a good bet to continue on his soft tires. The safety car is going in according to the race direction. And we'll have to wait for a little bit. Going on board with Pablo Armengol. Just waiting a little bit for the drivers to stop their zigzagging. Don't want anyone to be dizzy at the end of this safety car period. And now let's see, when will Dario Mulo go and how good of a reaction will have Armengol? And looks like he goes out right away, Emulo. And he does get a good jump on Pablo Armengol. It's not enough to really go anywhere, and Armengol with the slipstream will be able to get back some of the advantage. Simon Perini loses out over Sven Zerner, and Lusink jumps Condor into turn number 2 and into Tamburello. Up he goes into P13. Sven Zerner makes his way into P11. He needs to be aggressive now that he is on the soft tires. And Ismael Fassi glued to the back of Daniel Haddad, as Haddad is on the hard tires. Fassi now has a tire advantage on him, and he is glued to his rear diffuser. But Joanna, overall, a couple moves, but overall, a rather uneventful race restart.
Exactly. The drivers with a bare tires getting 1 or 2 positions on the car ahead of them, but nothing spectacular, I'd say. Very important for Daniel Haddad is what Sam Albin will do now. If he loses DRS to Luke Smith, that could put a hamper on some of Daniel Haddad's aspirations on this race.
Oh, Sven Zerner, he knew that he had to be aggressive. He tried into turn 17, couldn't quite get the run on Ismael Fassi. There was almost contact between the two out of the last corner, but tremendous respect between both of them, kept it clean. And that allowed Simon Perini to get closer on the straight, because Sven Zerner got a compromised exit. But nothing to come of it just yet. Dario Mulo, though, has already pulled off a second on Armengol, and Haddad gets a penalty.
In the meantime, very nice maneuver from Dari Beresne on El Huki, preparing the exit of turn of Oriente Taborello. Of Oriente Villeneuve, very well, and then being able to overtake the Spaniard, who is now right behind another Spaniard, losing a bit of traction. It's not the first time that we see Dani Beresne losing a bit of control on his car. Nardi Perez passing Milan on Variante Alta, not the most common of places to let someone by, but they're trying to fight off the McLaren driver who is behind them. Milan is on the harder compound tires, and he knows that he will be a bit of an easy prey for the Hungarian driver.
You have Dani Perez now going side by side with the Alfa Romeo. He gets the move done. Further up the order, we have the Haas of Fassi pressurizing Haddad. Couldn't quite get through though. Sven Zerner also getting a penalty. So his aggressiveness not paying off for the time being.
Let's
And
face it, if you look-
Fassi goes on a dive on Haddad, takes a lunge. Nothing too egregious, but Haddad wasn't expecting it from the looks of things. Fassi did pull off the maneuver a bit late, but and he surprises Haddad, and into Toza gets the move done. Nicely done from the Haas driver. I could tell that Haddad wasn't really expecting it, and Fassi just says thank you very much, gets the move done. And now it's Zerner pressurizing Haddad, gets a much better exit. They're getting side by side now, downhill into turn number 16 and 17. And Zerner gets the move done, up into the points paying positions he goes.
Well, Haddad knows that both drivers that pass him will probably have to stop again, so he's not too concerned, especially with Zerner, who also has the penalty. Simon Perny is the next one looking on the rear of the Aston Martin. He takes a look at the inside, but decides to stay P12 for now. Maybe try to get a better exit.
Oh, sorry, there's issues for Bean. Bean gets all discombobulated coming out of the Variante Tamburello. Gets a lot of dirt on his tires. And now...
It's Luke Smith out.
No, Luke Smith is out, but something happened at the same time with Bean. I don't know what happened to Smith, but Bean went on the gravel, lost a lot of places because he was P5 or P6. Oh, and now he's getting incoming two blows with Sven Zerner. There's contact coming out of Aqua Minerale that compromises his run. He's getting jumped by his own teammate, and now it's Perrini trying to take advantage of the situation. And Samuel Bin's race has unraveled in front of his eyes. Everything turned out wrong.
If you think his race has crumbled, imagine the race of Luke Smith, who was running on the top four previous to the safety car, getting quite close to the top three, and then sees himself going out on Toza and now having to pit. What an eventful evening for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Dani Beresnay goes past Codorningolo. We also had a change of positions between Shanaka Clay and Alessio Di Capua. Yamulo is doing a mighty job to pull away on those older soft tires. He's 2 seconds away from Istvan Puki, who has now to contend with the Williams of Shanaka Clay right behind him. But great shot from our helicopter. Samuel Bean chasing Simon Perini as Daniel Haddad trying to keep up with Sven Zerner. After all of that battling, Sven Zerner now has over a second gap to Ismail Fassi. I'm not sure if he's really going to be able to close that one up. Haddad is starting to struggle a little bit. He went over the 1 second margin to Sven Zerner. Is he going to get the RS? I think he might not be able. Just barely, but he might not be able to get the RS. Dario Yamuro finally pulls off into the pits. And now it's finally the time for Perini with the DRS wide open at the back. Overtake mode also deployed, sorry. And he gets the move done. Samuel Bin was too far away to get anything going over his teammate.
Dani Beresnay already sees his championship rival just ahead of him, still 2 cars between them, but he can see him on track, and that must have a positive mental effect on the Hungarian driver.
Yeah, surely, that's surely motivating, especially after everything that happened to Beresnay during qualifying, getting knocked out in Q1, and then after the first round of pit stops under safety car, he comes out of the pit lane in last place. This surely gets a good boost to his morale, knowing that he is very close to his championship rival.
Yeah, but just look, I'm not sure it was on purpose, but Samuel Bin losing a bit of a contact with his teammate, still on the DRS zone for now. That's crucial if he wants to defend from Daniel Losing and Dani Beresnay. three Dennis in such a short bit of track.
Yeah, meanwhile, Alessio Di Capua closing in on Shanaka Clay. As Shanaka Clay is closing in on the leader with the aid of DRS. Is going to get the move done. Alessio Di Capua will run out of straight line to try and pull off a similar maneuver. Daniel Lusink has DRS to defend from Beresnay. Also cannot really mount an offensive maneuver on Samuel Bin for the time being. Ismail Fassi very close to Lovece, but nothing to come off it just yet. Oh, and Beresnay tries to surprise Daniel Lusink around the outside of Toza. He goes for the switchback, goes early on the power. He was trying there to see if he could get a better exit, considering he has softer tires, or a softer compound of tire, but at least in that specific occasion, it didn't turn out positive for the McLaren driver. Lusink actually got a better exit. So for the time being, he has to settle for P12 and just try to wait for a better opportunity to come along. Luke Smith getting penalized, unfortunately for him. And now, will Istvan Pukki be able to regain the race lead?
No, by the opposite, he's about to lose his second position to Alessio Di Capua. A bit of a contact between the two drivers. Istvan Pukki trying to put side by side with Janaka, mostly to defend from the AlphaTauri driver, and he manages to keep his second position.
Yeah, exactly. He got the slipstream on Shanaka Clay, so that was helpful for his chances of maintaining P2, and that's exactly what he did. Pukki is the only driver to have not stopped so far in this race. Oh, and Yemulo with a penalty for exceeding track limits. He knows he has to push because he essentially lost a pit stop to everybody else during that safety car period. And now
third time I see Danny Berenay almost losing it at Acqua Minerale. The McLaren driver is completely on the edge.
Right, of course their tires are, well, of course they are the ones with the least grip, but it's also a matter of comfort with them. And looks like Haddad isn't too comfortable. He's almost about to lose DRS on
Who is about to lose position is Pablo Armengol for Domenico Lovece, the Ferrari driver on the harder compound with much more quantity of energy passing the Mercedes driver.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Bean also got a run on Haddad. Couldn't quite get the move to stick though.
And Beresnay passed Lusink.
Yeah. Yeah, we witnessed that, but I mean, it's a tricky situation because if Haddad cannot get the DRS, Danny Beresnay could jump both Aston Martins, and Beresnay is in control of the race at the moment. Luke Smith is out. Luke Smith is out. He retires in the pit lane after a frustrating evening. Luke Smith is out of the Grand Prix.
And if you're Danny Beresnay, you're thinking, you got me out of Q1 just to retire.
Yeah, well, things have turned out quite decent, I would say, to Beresnay, because compared to Haddad, he is in control. He is the man in control of the situation.
Not really, because Daniel Haddad can go to the end. Beresnay has to stop.
No, but what will Bin do? Overtake Haddad? And now he will expose Haddad? Oh my god, Luke Smith's AI. Whew. Luke Smith's AI gave me an heart attack there. Not gonna lie. Codorningolo with the arrest got mighty close to Nardi Perez. Nothing to come off of that situation exactly though.
In the meantime, I got some information that the contact that Luke Smith had that made Luke Smith go into the gravel was with Alessio Di Capua. So that might be some job for the stewards after the race. In the meantime, we have plenty of action on track with most of our drivers in the DRS range of the car ahead of them. Only Samuel Bin missing it, still trying to get into Simon Perini DRS range to help Daniele Haddad defend from the position, and also for his own race, of course. In the meantime, we have Nardi Perez also penalizing. I think he had some issue because there were yellow flags where he were. So tough day for the Williams driver as well.
Exactly. Now, Sven Zerner looks like he might have a run on Pablo Armengol. Let's see if that is confirmed or not. Yes, he gets the maneuver done. Obviously, Capo also taking a peek at the inside of Puki, but nothing to come off of that. And now Samuel Bean with Haddad and Berezny. But Haddad keeps on struggling. Haddad is almost losing the arrest to Samuel Bean. Samuel Bean managed to pull away and is really helping Haddad because he is sort of being a bridge, because Bean can keep up with the DRS of Perini and try to be the middleman, to try and offer DRS to Haddad while not losing DRS himself and keeping Haddad in striking distance of the top 8. Also, he offers his teammate DRS to protect from Dani Berezny. Of course, Berezny is going to keep putting up the pressure since he has the softer compound of tire between both of them. And we are about to start lap 19, and Haddad looks like he got his act together this lap and is back to getting the DRS. Let's see now if there's any change at the front. The Cabo is closing in on Shanaka Clay, but nothing to come from that. Dani Berezny is glued to Daniel Haddad. He's going to take a look around the outside. Haddad breaks later. This is taking an opportunity for Berezny to go on the switchback. Gets a much better run out of turn number 5. They're side by side now into Villeneuve. Let's see, there's contact, and Dani Berezny spins. There's contact between the championship contenders, and Berezny leaves the race after that. Out of frustration. There was contact into the Villeneuve chicane, and Berezny is out of the race. Shanaka Clay still leads affairs with Capua in P2, Istvan Puki P3, Domenico Lovece pressurizing the Red Bull in P4, but the other Red Bull of Perini, he is the one putting the pressure on Pablo Armengol. Joanna, what did we just witness?
What we didn't want to witness, really. Contact between the two title rivals. Dani Berezny getting the worst of it, and then, well, we must call it rage quitting, really, from the race. I'm pretty sure this is not what either of them wanted, but after the last race, I must confess I was kind of expecting something to happen. A bit like Max and Hamilton in Monza. It was a bit unavoidable if I'm, that something like this would happen, if I may say. Of course, that complicates things for Dani Berezny, especially because there's 12 laps to go still, so he could have just keep going on. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, unfortunately, he's out. Daniele is in P9, loads of drivers with penalties already, so let's see how the race goes on, because there's still 12 laps till the end.
Exactly. We still have 12 laps to go, and Bean and Haddad still have plenty of places to gain. Puki probably will have to go into the pits. Zerner must be at the end of the life cycle of those softs, so there's 2 positions there. And then I don't know if Fassi and Di Capo can take those mediums to the end. Lovece and Clay, surely they can take the hards to the end. So I would say it's all to play for. In terms of Bean and Haddad, it's all to play for the last of the paying positions. But Haddad, I'm not sure if he has damage previous to that battle with Berezny. Because Bean has been much more comfortable in the hard set of tires. Lusink now overtakes Haddad, and Lusink lost over a second trying to overtake Haddad. Now he has over a second of a deficit to Bean, So Haddad is struggling quite a bit. Not exactly an ideal race from his standpoint. Ismail Fassi, though, I believe he's doing his debut with us as well. Both Haas are on their debut. And Simon Perini. I believe we have 3 debutees. Maybe 4 with Shanaka, but I'm not sure if Shanaka raced previously in this season or not. Nonetheless, at least we have 3 debutees, and all of them are doing a good job. Daniel Lusing in P9, Ismail Fassi battling for a possible podium. Again, we are not sure if he's going to be able to take those mediums to the end or not. Oh, and Daniel Haddad now has left. Daniel Haddad pulls off into the pits and has retired from the race. Again, he was losing a lot of pace.
That's not the way he wanted the race to go.
Yeah, and I also don't know if it just sees no point in racing because of maybe damage, because again, he was losing a lot of time, so I would explain that to damage on either his wings or...
To be honest, I'd explain that on ethics.
The loss of pace? The loss of pace? Because it was struggling on the
retiring.
pace.
The retiring.
No, yeah, I'm talking about the pace today. Samuel Bean now. The sole Aston Martin remaining is battling with the other McLaren. So we have Samuel Bean chasing down Sven Zerner. Oh, and could this be 3 wide? There's contact, there's a crash. They made it 3 wide into turn number 17. And it would never work. 3 into 17 would never work. And Samuel Bean got the short end of the stick there. Daniel Lusing moves up into P7 with a double overtake.
Yeah, early in the race, Patrick was the one showing that you don't force a 3 wide into Rivazza by backing out on that first lap fight. These 3 decided to go 3 wide and definitely did not go as well as it could have. In the meantime, we have the boat of Danny Beresnay doing a few stops. But yeah, I think Istvan Pukki still has to stop. He's the only driver that definitely has to do it. He's still in P5 ahead of his teammate. Not sure if there will be team orders there or not. But very curious to see if this strategy of the Hungarian driver pays out or not.
Yeah, so
I mean, if you think about it, they have the Hungarian flag all over the place. They just have to look at it a different direction.
Yeah, in a different order, right? Exactly.
No, same order, but different direction.
Is it?
Yeah, it's red, white, and green.
No, but Italy is in vertical. The Hungarian flag is
that's why I'm saying
horizontal.
direction. That's why I'm saying different direction.
Okay. I got it now. Sven Zerner goes further down the order. His tires are reaching the limit of their capabilities. He's now under pressure from Karmar, who goes on a switch back in direction to the Variante Villeneuve and gets up into P10. Previously, Zerner got doubly overtaken by Milan Meyer and Codorningolo. Now further up the order once again. It's Clay, Capolovece, Fassi, Pukki and Simon Perini in this group, in this leading group. And it will be interesting to see if any of these medium tire runners are going to be forced to pit. I believe Pukki has 100% to pit, but I don't know if...
That's not a belief, that's the rule.
Yeah, I don't know if Capua and Fassi have to pit.
Or maybe not. If they haven't been fighting as hard as they could have, they might have been managing the tires to see if they go to the end. And as I say, that Alessio Di Capo passes to the lead of the race. Although he has a penalty, so Shanaka won't be too worried about that.
Oh, and Samuel Bean retires in the pits. Sven Zerner pits with him to replace his front wing. Maybe he got damage on that battle with, not Karmar, but the previous battle with Kodorningol and Milan Mayer. Or maybe even in the contact with Bean and Danny losing that three-way battle. Samuel Bean is also out. And this will be also a major knock on both championship standings for Samuel Bean and for Aston Martin. But further up the field, it's Domenico Lovece pressurizing Shanaka Clay. And these two could very well be in direct contest for the win, unless one of them gets a penalty. Of course, this duo only needs to remain disciplined to get the jump on Alessio Di Capua. Here comes the slipstream. No overtake mode deployed by the Ferrari. But Shanaka Clay moves to the outside of Alessio. Ooh, and Shanaka Clay is actually on the brakes, on the grass there. I'm surprised he didn't outright lose control of the Williams. He went on the brakes over the grass on the exit of the track, so... or outside the track, so I'm really surprised that he didn't...
Last time they went on the grass there in real life, didn't go so well, did it?
Yeah, exactly, so... yeah, I'm surprised that he was able to activate the brakes and keep the car together as he went over...
There was also Williams involved, so...
yeah, last time around there was also Williams involved. But yeah, it wasn't raining, which helps things. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't lose the rear of his Williams altogether, going on the brakes over the grass. Nonetheless, the race does carry on. And we have now Alessio Di Capua still leading affairs. But he's going to get pressurized. Shanaka Clay moves to get the slipstream off of him. Shanaka Clay also has disabled his DRS, so he's looking to maintain P2 for now, but the slipstream is powerful enough to let him close in by a lot, really. Domenico Lovece couldn't do much more than just getting closer. And Ismael Fassi is a bit of an outsider looking in, just waiting for his time to pounce. And Simon Perini also, another one of the debutees, just trying to measure any opportunities that might come his way. And Joanna looks like we'll have 5 laps of this until lap 31, where everyone will make their move. Well, the beginning of lap 32.
They'll try, that's for sure, but let's see. Alessio Di Capua has been able so far to defend quite well, but of course Shanaka and Domenico weren't trying as hard as they'll do on the last 2 laps, of course. So quite curious to see. Ismael Fassi is really close to them as well. Nice to see that the medium compound is also able to go to the end. So let's see, this time around Shanaka Clay always trying to get the toe from Alessio Di Capua. Yeah, and Domenico Lovece having to lift the foot from the throttle because Alessio Di Capua was that much slow with no toe and no DRS. So he drops to P3, the Italian driver, losing position to his fellow countryman and Shanaka Clay in P1. Might be strategy, might be the tire saying I'm done.
Yes, exactly. Well, he lost out completely on the run. Of course, Capua and Lovece and Clay were very close to the Capua, so even if he had tires in good state, he wouldn't really have any weapons to defend himself with. It's a very long DRS zone. But the truth is that Di Capua dropped down to P3. Fassi, due to the penalties, Fassi could still be in the cards for a podium finish on his debut, which would be quite important. Quite nice to see.
Very good first race from the Spaniard on the Haas car. No penalties, keeping it clean might just prove that bit essential at the end of the race. Although he now loses position.
Yeah, he lost out.
He's quite slow.
Yeah, I'm not... He punctured. Did he not puncture? I think he punctured his right rear.
Yeah, it seems that way. Alessio Di Capo and Simon Perini have had their final warning. Yeah, and the tire just disappears.
Oh, and now I think he
As
just
it's on
lost
my
connection.
screen.
No, he lost connection there for a second, I believe, or something happened. But yeah, he got a puncture on the right rear. Those Pirelli just gave up on him. And
Trying to get out of the way of everyone coming in, but what a shame.
Yeah, he
We
has to
just
do...
cursed it, Racebook.
No, he has to do an entire lap on that punctured tire as well, which is really a shame. Just adding insults to injury, really. But it is what it is. Meanwhile,
Alessio Di
Milan...
Capo back on the podium with this.
Yeah, and Milan Meyer, I believe, is in his way for his best result here in ORL this season. Codorningolo might be on his way to do the same. I'm not sure. I'll need you to check the records, but I believe both of them might be on their way to their best result so far. Now, Domenico Lovece picking in on Shanaka Clay, but decides to back out of a possible maneuver. Maintains P2 for now. And
Do you know
Simon...
the other name of Codorningolo?
Sorry, what?
The name of Codorningolo, is he Arturo?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I believe his best performance... I believe Codorningolo's best performance was Spa. So... It was in the Haas, if I recall correctly. At Spa, and...
Yeah, he got P7 in Spa, so that might just be who I think he is. Arturo Di Juan, with a P7 in Belgium and not being able to get on the points again since then. So this would be a tie with his best.
Did Alessio get a puncture? Alessio got a puncture! Alessio also got a puncture, and those mediums are giving up on everybody. Alessio Di Capo with a puncture goes for a spin into the kink of turn 16. And now it's Milan Meyer and Codorningolo getting through them, and Milan Meyer gets into the top 5, brilliantly done. Domenico Lovece gets the overtake done on Shanaka Clay, and this could be it for the fight now. For the lead, Lovece needs to make sure that he has enough battery charge to repel Shanaka Clay's attack at the beginning of the last lap. And we'll have to wait and see how things go. Simon Perini is driving so slowly. He really is trying to make those tires not blow up. Daniel Lusink is closing in because he has tires in much better condition considering those are the hard tires. Alessio Di Capo finally goes into the pits. Yes.
He also has 3 more seconds of penalties than Simon, so he doesn't really need to fight the Haas driver.
Yeah, ooh, Shanaka Clay with the step there off the rear. And now, Lovece is catching up to Fassi. Is that... I'm not sure if that is an AI or not. I'm not sure if that is an AI or not. But Lovece might grab the RS off of this. Let's see. Will he be able to catch the RS off of this? Is the question for us. No, he does not. This is the opportunity that Shanaka Clay must give it all with the DRS, with the slipstream, with the overtake mode. He's closing in. Will it be enough? Looks like it is just enough for Lovece to not be able to repel his charge. And Shanaka Clay retakes the lead. Codorningolo takes P5 rather from Milan Meyer as well. And Karmar, who started in last place, was battling for P7 with Istvan Pukki. Karmar is also at risk of a puncture. Istvan Pukki, let's not forget, pitted earlier, rejoined the track outside of the top 10 and is now in P7. But yeah, Karmar needs to be very, very slow. Danny Lusink is all over the back of Simon Perini as well. And Shanaka Clay, ladies and gentlemen, might very well be on his way to a win today. Brilliant job by these two. But Domenico Lovece, after these disconnection issues at Saudi Arabia, he comes back strong, but he is just short of a win once again. But there you have it, Shanaka Clay, incredible execution of his strategy. He crosses over the line to take home the win of the Italian Grand Prix. Domenico Lovece right behind him, Simon Perini resists, got the blessing from Pirelli to get to the podium on his debut. Codorningolo gets P4 from the penalty of Danny Lusing. Milan Mayer with a personal best P6. Istvan Puki gets P7. Pablo Armengol still gets P8 from Karmar, who started in last place to get that P9.
What an unfortunate race
And
for
Rocky.
Alessio Di Capo. Fighting for the win and then the tire blowing up and he will finish outside the points.
Yeah, and Yamulo on the DNF, the drivers that got the front row lockout. And once again, they do amazing displays in qualifying. But luck never comes their way, in the race. And it's incredible, even at their home race. Since Monza, not Monza, but since Imola is very close to Faenza.
Well, Gasly didn't finish at least one of the races in this track, so...
Yeah, he did not, but still. He had to retire when he was P5 or P4. He had to retire with engine problems, so yeah, it seems fitting, but... This has been the story of the AlphaTauri season. Let alone just this race. And it's heartbreaking stuff, but once again, luck has dealt a bad end. But Shonaka Clado takes the win. And there are plenty of celebrations back at Groove and at the Williams HQ. Domenico Lovecchio with another podium. How many podiums for this man this season? He has been a podium-getting machine.
4.
And it's the 4th podium from him in 9 races. And
But the first time he's not P3, really.
yeah, it's the first time he's not P3. He has been a 3rd place machine so far. Finally gets P2. And also on his debut, we get Simon Perini completing the podium. Joanna, I will need you to screenshot because I
already did.
Yeah,
Already did.
the loading is trolling me. I'm not getting the standings to load in, unfortunately.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
I guess I do. But nonetheless, we are going to soon be able to talk with our drivers. But before that, just going to get a few ad breaks, and we will be back in a moment.
I'm crazy, Captain.
Yes.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
and welcome back everybody to our interviews where we get to speak to some of the protagonists of this Grand Prix, and we are going to speak with our race winner, Shanaka Clay, on this season's debut. If I recall correctly, you get the win. It was an interesting battle as well at the end, but describe us your performance this race. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think not too bad. I mean, I jumped in last minute, so very little practice, as always, it seems in my league racing career. But we had a decent quali. Shame we missed Q3 a little bit because we had a very good Q1, but we didn't really find the improvement throughout the sessions. But we were in a good position, P2 behind Alessio off the start, and then the safety car basically decided the race because a few people went onto mediums, and obviously their tires were very, very bad at the end, most of them pitting as well. So only Prigny could stay out. So it left it between a battle between me and Domenico. And he went with 2 laps to go, tried to pull the gap, and he very, very nearly did it. But fortunately, he ran out of battery at the end of the straight, so I could fly back past him at the start of the last lap and then just control it from there, really. So it was good.
Yeah, it was a nice battle, and yeah, as you said, it just ran out of top end speed there. You managed to get by him. It was really close that you guys really didn't have to share the Variante Tamburello. But yeah, do you know if you will be able to race in the last 2 races of the championship?
It's not something I really thought about. Obviously, I mean, I think only yesterday I was asked to come and race, and because it's
Will
a
be
break
your
week.
home race.
Huh?
It will be your home race.
Ah, well, that might make it a little bit more appealing. So I'll have to think about it for sure. I have always enjoyed the racing in this league in the past, so good to be back, and maybe I can come back for another race or 2, but we'll have to see for sure if I have any other commitments on. So.
Okay. Gaunt, do you have any more questions for our race winner?
I was actually going to ask Shanak about next week and if he was going to join us, so hopefully yes. Besides the battle with Domenico, anything you want, any special battle you had, any special difficulty you had during the race that you want to point out?
It was just sort of controlling the medium runners behind me in the middle of the race, because obviously they had a lot more pace. Even when I was stuck behind the old medium runners, I had no extra pace than them. So it was just managing the race. That was the biggest battle with the ERS, not trying to waste too much battery, but making sure I could basically waste the tires of the guys behind without them sort of going in front and getting a gap. So yeah, no specifics apart from with Leveche, and obviously a decent battle through the race with Alessio as well. But yeah, apart from that, just an overall sort of managing race.
Yeah. Well,
congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Yeah, and well, it may be not easy because it's never easy with the quality of the grid, but maybe a bit more straightforward of a race then. But yeah, thank you for your words and congratulations on the win. Have a good evening.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So with that, I don't seem to have any other drivers available to speak to us. That's it for today. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us with another round and taking a look at the calendar. We are racing at Britain next time around, and then the graphic doesn't show, but after Britain we will be racing in the Red Bull Ring to close out the season. So not this upcoming Sunday, but 2 Sundays from the next Sunday, right? So just to be more precise, let me take a look. So April 3rd, I believe. Yeah, April 3rd will be the next race in ORL. We will be racing at Silverstone. So thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast of this race. This is Ruben Racebug Mania, and beside me in the commentary booth is Joana Gaunt Brito. Thank you so much once again, and until next time, Goodbye.